Oftentimes when I'm coaching people on how to build a strong brand, I often look at my own brand and my own story of how this came about. And if you've ever heard my story, the short version is that I was a design company. I had a design business before I had a branding business. And the reason I became a branding business because I realized that the power that lies in branding is the one thing that really helps a company succeed and add value to itself while separating itself from its competition. So when I'm having these conversations and teaching people about this concept of branding, I'll tell them my story of how I went through 2 brands. Actually, this brand you see right here is my second brand. The reason is, the first one was a complete failure. Ouch. By the time I really honed my process and realized what I was doing as a branding coach, it was about the time when I looked at my own brand and thought, wow, I'm not getting any attention. Nobody's even paying attention to what I'm doing or even understands what I'm doing. Why? Because I kept blending in, and blending in is the enemy of branding. Branding by its very nature is differentiating yourself from the competition. And when I looked at my existing brand, I realized it was terrible. It was not getting attention. It was just plain not working. So because I had already by that time developed a very strong process for branding, I did what I think a lot of people ought to do in their own business. And that's put yourself through your own process. And that's what I actually did. In order to develop a new brand for our company, I put myself through the same process I put my clients through. What is at the core of what makes us tick? And after I distilled all the data and got to the core of what the brand was, I looked what came out the other side, and it was this. The concept of Unleash My Beast brand was born that day. And what I realized was it was the process that created the successful result. So look at your own business. Put yourself in your client's shoes. Sit on the other side of the table. Objectively attempt to put yourself in the brand experience that they feel. And then maybe you can evaluate it on how you can make it better. Sometimes you can't really objectively look at yourself when you're sitting on the same side of the table you've always sat on. There's an old saying that says, you can't see the label when you're inside the bottle. And so sometimes you're so close to it, you need to pull back and get a better look. You need to sit across the table from yourself and experience what your client is experiencing and feel what they're feeling and seeing how the value plays out, if at all. And by doing that, you'll be able to assess what needs to be strengthened and what needs to be tossed. So put yourself through your own process. See your brand experience objectively. Toss out what stinks and level up your business.